Hello. I noticed a little against energy in my last video, being against things. I'm reminded of Mother Teresa, who was never against anything. She was always for something. So she was never against war, for example. She was always for peace. And I think in the end that we all have to end up there, where you're just for. You're for your true nature, because in the end, we're all the same. We're all the one. Um, Not that some light, criticism or some little jibing, um, playful critique can be helpful, but just something to be aware of, I think. And also, just try to say again, all paths are good. All paths are good. They all end up in the same place. There's many paths up the mountain, as they say. They all end at the top. Really, everything is beautiful, and that's beautiful. Really, I'm clarifying kind of what my message is. And I think it just has to do with this preferred path is an intuitive one. It's the intuitive path that needs love. So the intuitive, loving. I never really understood the devotional path, but now I do. I always thought it was a bit silly, like people were giving up their seniority for things, putting people on a pedestal, putting entities on a pedestal that they didn't understand or whatever. But there's more to it than that. And I don't know a ton about it. But I think it's close to this. It's close to love, and intuitive, and feeling your way through, doing what's right, feeling what's right, trying to do what's right at the time. Like just, I've always done that with things. Or I guess I've done that a lot, where I'll take a technique and it always ends up morphing for me. And I always end up kind of doing it my own way. And I think it's important to follow your intuition that way. Yeah. On that note, it's probably also important to not forget your intuition. Like when you do hear it, maybe it takes a little bit of discipline. I think for me, it's taken a little bit of discipline at times to like, okay, you had the intuition. Let's check in with it. Let's take a moment. Let's don't just trail off into the head. Make a head decision. Do some head activities. Get lost in head for a while. And also, you always, still have to do the work. So I really think that You don't go looking for trouble. Trouble finds you. So I always try to be ready to do the work as well whenever it comes up. Be open to addressing a shadow, some emotional work, some psychological work, mental work, whatever you want to call it. Addressing it at the level you need to address it at. So I believe in just using any modality whatsoever, whatever you're drawn to, whatever you've got an affinity for, it feels right to you, do that. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter if it's tapping or therapy or long talks with a close friend or combinations of things. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. Let it morph. Allow yourself to kind of do what's necessary. Flow into what's necessary. When you see things clearly, clear seeing is so amazing. When you see things clearly, they dissolve. They seem to return to essence. We're not always there. We're not always at clear seeing. And so do what you need to do to kind of handle where you are in the moment. I mean, that's what I try to do. That's what I have to do, really. If it's an identity issue and you feel completely identified with something at the moment, just be that identity for a few minutes if you have to, and work it from there. You just come back to who you really are as soon as you can, as much as you can. I also believe in addressing things at their level. So see if I can explain that a little bit. So for me, I did a bit of Sedona method. I did Sedona method for several years. And for me, it morphed into just welcoming, just sort of an organic welcoming. And then into a direct feeling, direct experiencing. It's sometimes a mixture where you're, and sometimes just that direct feeling when I'm feeling something directly, it's the same thing as clear seeing. Like clear seeing on a visual level for me is the same thing as clear feeling on a clear sentient level. So, but you need to feel it exactly where it's at, not your concept of what it feels like. But you need to you need to meet it right where it's at. And give you you have to let yourself be struck in a way, you have to learn its language, let it teach you its language. And when you feel something directly and completely, the same thing happens. It goes away. Or at least that wave of it, that level of it, goes away. That incarnation of it. So yeah, clear seeing, clear feeling, or direct. Maybe a better way to say that probably is it's the direct feeling something. Um, of an emotion. What else today? Um, my first video was imperfect. But you know what? That's exactly where I'm at right now. It's exactly what this is right now. Um, in pre-awakening, on my path, um, just paying attention, being present, um, returning to myself as often as possible. Um, on that note, I don't. I'm not a. I don't do a lot of um, self-inquiry. It didn't take much for me to just go. I mean, the first one, like, um, what is aware? um, spoke volumes for me. But again, the intuitive path is use them when you feel it's necessary, like when you need one, like maybe this is the time right now. So I guess it's kind of like a toolbox, have your toolbox ready. Um, have your tool belt ready. So like, you get lost in a mind storm for a bit. Who am I? Maybe when you've worked it, um, and be careful of those concepts of like you shouldn't have to work it, right? You should be advanced enough, or whether that's you can just feel it out or see it out, or it's okay to work it. Work it when you have to work it, and when you're done, who am I? Who's aware? What am I? What is aware right now? Whatever works for you, whatever speaks to you, whatever resonates with you. It's all about that. There's so much. It's just about trust yourself, love yourself, um, trust your intuition, go with what resonates with you right now. Follow the love. Not too long ago, I would have thought that was cheesy. But I've discovered that I needed more love than I was giving myself on this path. Um, and it's a barrier. You hold yourself back. I was holding myself back by um, not being loving enough, not being too ascetic, um, being too demanding of myself, too hard on myself. None of these things are necessary. Um, you can be loving toward yourself, and whatever. And at this stage, like, doesn't we shouldn't get stuck on who needs to be loving to what self, this, that, and the other thing. Um, that stuff's all going to come out in the wash. Um, deal with it where you need to deal with it right now, and also remember to um, experience your true nature. that non-dual perspective, to remind yourself what it's all about, who you are in the end. But for now, we're everything. We're the whole thing. And being able to live a life, very consistently aware of who you really are, is enough. To me, it's enough. I don't have any lofty goals of being, super non-dual or purely non-dual or ascending or any of these other things. This individuality exists. Play the game while you're here. Just don't get stuck in the game. Don't get mired in the game. Can you play the game and be free of it at the same time? I think that's the deal. See you later.